wokeness, cancel culture, the cries of the social justice warriors. We're hearing all about it these days. And I want to talk about some of the changes that they're forcing to be implemented to product names and places and statues and things like that. I guess you've heard that there won't be any more Eskimo pies. I guess you've heard that Aunt Jemima syrup is getting a name change, and Uncle Ben's rice and Kickapoo Fair Trade coffee. It's all being changed. I want to talk about that. Hi, Alex McFarland here, and thanks for watching the Truth for a New Generation webcast. Do you know that the social justice warriors, I would submit to you, are pretty selective in what they get outraged about? I'm going to miss Eskimo pies, aren't you? Because I just don't think people are going to be really into indigenous tundra-dwelling people's pies. But we're to the point where anything that even smacks of culture, they want gone or ignored or glossed over. And folks, it's crazy. And we've got to ask ourselves, where does this end? Hey, let me mention one thing that happened a couple of years ago, even before the wokeness of 2020. Kate Smith, for years at a number of sports arenas, the New York Yankees Stadium, the Philadelphia Flyers Arena, Kate Smith had sung God Bless America. But it was discovered that 90 years ago, she had sung some songs that were deemed racist and offensive. And not only had Kate Smith done it, though, but the great African-American musician, singer, civil rights leader Paul Robeson had recorded the very same songs. But because Kate Smith was somehow tied to offensive songs from 90 years ago, no longer will her God Bless America rendition be played. They took down a statue of her, and somehow the erasure of Kate Smith from the consciousness is going to make right racism. Now, no, racism is wrong. I'll be the first to say it. But we've got to ask the social justice warriors and the thought police to be consistent. Let me give you an example. Judy Garland. The Advocate magazine says Judy Garland is the Elvis of homosexuals. She's a gay icon. But did you know, in her 1941 production, Babes on Broadway, Judy Garland sings, now wait for it, Waiting on the Robert E. Lee. So here's a Confederate general that has been set to music in a toe-tapping, appealing fashion. And not only Judy Garland, but LGBTQ trans activist Bernadette Peters has sung Waiting on the Robert E. Lee also. Scrub it. Get rid of it. If we're going to censor all of culture, we need to be consistent about that. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I want to say thanks for watching. Hey, I've got a new book coming out. You're the first to see. This is my next book, Toxic America, 9 Things You Must Know to Prepare for the Looming Civil War, the Possible Civil War. One thing I am doing during quarantine is writing, and I want you to keep me in prayer if you would, and I'm going to tell you about when the publisher puts up a landing page for this next book. But if you would like us on social media, publicly that is, Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to enter you for our book giveaway that we do once a week, and we appreciate you doing that. But hey, let me give you another example of the need to be consistent about our social justice outrage. Okay, McFarland here. I am of Scottish extract. And do you know, I believe if we were going to be consistent, we would have to call on Disney to get rid of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies and the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at their theme parks. Why? Look, as a Scot, do you know, in the early 1600s, from 1601 to about 1630, the Caribbean islands, Barbados and other islands, were in the slave trade, and guess who were being apprehended, incarcerated, and sold, human traffic, slaves? Scottish people. So, as a Scot whose ancestors were slaves, the Caribbean islands, the prime offenders, why doesn't Disney get rid of all things with the nomenclature Caribbean? Because they have a tie to slavery. I think about plantains. By the way, should we get rid of the word plantain, just like Rhode Island is getting rid of their full name, the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations? The name plantation, do you know it's from a Latin root that means, quote, a place for growing weeds? I know in the minds of many it has another connotation. But if Rhode Island has to drop the name plantation, are we going to get rid of the fruit plantains? Folks, it's impossible. We all have feet of clay. We all have things in our past and present that are positive and negative. And so let's rein in the insanity. Let's stop the censorship and thought control. And let's live our lives as people of truth, loving each other and not thinking we can fix the world by controlling what people think or say or do. We can't control each other, but we can control ourselves. And in that spirit, let's stand for truth. I want to thank you for watching the TNG webcast, and let me ask you, as I always do, please pray for America.